Hello, this is Nathan Unwin, and I'm going to be talking about the small group interaction from Group 5. Um, and our group was Stocks Against Humanity. Um, the general idea of our group was to invest in stocks that were slightly evil. So that was sort of the premise, is we were trying to see if evil pays or not. So uh, this group was, I would say, not the most effective in how we accomplished our goals. The first and foremost, the group had a pretty bad attendance throughout this project. Uh, Starting from the very beginning, our team charter was only Roman, Christian, and myself creating all of the agendas for each day and how our group would operate. Um, as for how if this group would be considered a group or a team, I would definitely qualify it as a group. There was no real um, consistent attendance every day between members. So it was very difficult to come together as a team and have consistent roles and make sure that the roles you were assigned were actually being done by the person who was assigned that role. I think this definitely affected our performance as uh, we were not involved enough day to day with certain tasks, as people who were supposed to do them didn't get them done in time. Um, as for the roles, um, I believe I personally did every single role. I was at least assigned to do every role. The first day, I was the leader and observer. So we only had 3 people show up on the first day um, to assign roles in our charter. Roman was our analyst on that first day. He was a very good analyst on that first day. He got pretty much everything we needed to get started. Unfortunately, he was late on that first day, so it was the document he sent us was the only thing to go off of. So he couldn't really explain his reasonings in person. Um, Unfortunately, there wasn't really a chance for anyone other than myself to be leader. Um, it was mostly due to Christian having a role other than leader on each of those days that we met. So it was kind of only me and him. So I took up the role of leader as the others were not there to do the role. Um, Beyond that, Christian was a little soft spoken and didn't initiate enough times to hold roles other than his one time as analyst. So it was, again, difficult to say who would have had different roles and how that change would have been observed. Um, as for norms in the group, it was, I think we had fairly good norms on the first day. With Roman being just a couple minutes late, he was a bit late to jump in and establish anything. But on the first day, we followed our agenda fairly well. Um, that being the starting of the meeting and voting on individual stocks that we were going to invest in. Um, it was the second day, unfortunately, that nearly everyone was late, save for myself. So it was very difficult at that point to um, hold much of a meeting with norms, as most of the people who were there for the first meeting were not there for the second one, at least at the very beginning. Then the rest of the team being up to 5 minutes late to the meeting itself made it very difficult to integrate them, to make decisions as the meeting went on. They were kind of playing catch up the whole time while we were trying to perform the trades and do everything that we needed to do on time during class. Um, as for how the group attendance was before and during, um, I I sit in the front of the class, so it's difficult to tell if my group attended every class. But I did notice that when we did have group project discussions, half, if not a little less than half, of all of our members were routinely not present in class. Um, and that pattern was maintained throughout the project. If you look at the attendance list, um, it just we had a really hard time getting everyone to show up and participate. Um, as for how power was distributed in the group, I I held most, if not all, of the power throughout the entire thing. Me being one of the only people prepared every day, I got all of the stocks brought up on my computer before every meeting. And I think that prep time was the source of my power throughout the assignment, as I was sort of the only one prepared to discuss and think about what we should be doing. Roman had a decent amount of power at the very beginning, as he had the analyst role, but he lost a lot due to not being there every day to oversee everything. So I kind of had power just by being there every day. Um, for patterns in the group, the only pattern was lack of attendance. Any other patterns that were shown were from me being leader nearly every time, and making sure that we had all of our stocks ready to go at the beginning of every class, and that information was readily available to discuss. It was difficult in that way to really have any social patterns between each of us. Um, the interaction stage that we got stuck on was forming. We never got our team all the way set up, and that really hurt the team as a whole. Um, as for the agenda, as I was leader every single time, it was essentially up to me to make sure that we got everything done every day. And I ended up doing so. Um, yeah. So as the group progressed, I think that we did all right in our task. We did come $10 under the 10,000 that we had originally. That unfortunately was due to a single stock performing fairly poorly, dragging everything else down. I think if we had put in sell limits, we would have had a much better time. But that I think is going to be the only real big change structurally, other than making sure the rest of the team showed up to every single day. As successfully as a group, I don't think we performed very well. As a team, I think we failed to meet expectations. And I blame entirely lack of attendance for that. Anyway, thank you for your time. Have a great day.